Hello, everybody, and welcome back to more Fishing with Crendor, a show where I fish with people. Today, I have finally hit the episode where we have found the one and only Jesse Cox.
Hi.
You
Hello.
like that? I delayed it a bit.
So
It
they
could have been
wouldn't know.
Jesse anyone.
Could have been Jesse Ventura, Jesse James,
Yep. Jesse,
Jesse from Disney's Jesse,
Jesse from one of those 90s shows.
Uncle Jesse.
Yeah, Uncle.
Could have been Uncle Jesse from Full House.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Everyone
jeez.
loved Uncle Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
That's
But
about
you
all I
got me instead, so
Yeah, so we got you
suck it
instead.
up, kids.
People have been asking for like years. I don't even know how long I've been doing this show, but they've been asking for years. When are you gonna fish with Jesse? And I was like, hold on. All right.
It's got to be a real special moment, like
Yeah.
March 21st.
I think I'm on like episode like 26 or something.
yeah.
Yeah. So this is a show where I'm gonna ask you stuff about just
Stuff.
yeah, I'm gonna ask you stuff about this World of Warcraft, and then you'll hopefully answer it.
Great. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to answer your questions, question my answers, and have a general good time getting up my fishing skill because I realized I just hit 759. It's 800. I have not fished in this expansion at all, so yo.
Shit. I've actually fished a lot in this expansion, but it was on my other character.
Well, then we'll skill up together.
Well, I don't actually catch fish because I like to have a good like shot.
Oh,
Yeah, I have caught like 0 fish while doing
this
this.
is all for show. This is all for
It's
show.
all for
Where's
show.
part of- There's a troll back here, just learning to play.
Oh yeah,
And she's
that
seeing the
troll.
behind the scenes, and she's like, this is all fake. This is all fake right
That guy's
here.
like opening his map, and he's like, "Where am I? Where am I going?"
We're just in a quest hub. Ascension Isles, man.
Yeah.
They are a wonderful, wonderful quest hub.
It is.
Wait, it's the Echo Isles, whatever.
Oh yeah, the Echo Isles. Didn't it used to
It's
be
where the
different?
Ascension people get out of town.
They revamped all this in Cataclysm.
They did, because they had to make like a troll starting area, because I guess the orcs got their own starting area, and
Yeah.
they finally had to give us something in this damn expansion.
Yeah. Well,
And then
not
they
that
took it- no,
expansion, but
Previous expansion, and then this is the expansion they took it all away. They gave us stuff and then snatched it all away from us. That's right. I had my emotions mixed up because Blizzard stomps on them all the time.
that's what they're good at doing. They like to build
Mhm.
hype and then just get rid of it.
That's exactly what they do.
But then they build new hype, and it's just a roller coaster. But you never get off.
That's the problem. Is I never get off. And I'm like, again! And I know I'll get sick and throw up and hate the journey, but then I'll be like, again!
Well, you don't say again. You're still on the same roller coaster. It just keeps
It
going.
just keeps, you can't, yeah, you're right. There is no stop, and then they're like, please get off and get back in line.
And then one
no,
day,
you just
you
it
just
keeps going.
You just die in the coaster, and they just like shove you out. And that's it.
And replace you.
Yeah. They got like warping technology at that point.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is a different kind. This is why I wanted to wait. This is like a different kind of fishing. 'Cause normally when I fish with people, I don't know them yet, or I like vaguely know them. But like it's essentially a podcast. We've already done.
We
like
got that out of the
8
way. We got that
billion.
knowing stuff out of the way.
We've already done like 80, 100 of those.
Yeah.
So yeah, where am I? Okay. Okay, first question.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
How did you get into the World of Warcraft? Not like I started a character, hit the button. Like, how'd you get into it?
I had played Warcraft, the original, because I'm 100 years old. I played the first Warcraft because my uncle for some reason, was huge into Warcraft. And I'm not sure why, because he's definitely not a gamer dude, but I think it was because he was at work and bored and bought the game. And so...
Wait, hold on. I got questions. So,
Okay.
this uncle,
Yes.
what other games did he play then? Is it just this is it?
Well, no. When I was very, very young, I remember when he was a swinging bachelor, I would stay over at his
Back
place.
in the 20s.
Back in the late 1800s. I would stay at his farmhouse / shack slaughterhouse. I don't know what happened in the 1800s.
Right.
I would go over to his place, and he was sort of like the cool uncle, and he had a Nintendo, and I remember him playing Castlevania 2, and I was horrified of whenever it switched to nighttime. Whenever it became night and it was like, "Oh, what a terrible night for a curse," I'd get scared, and I was like, "I don't want to play this." Only now, looking back, do I realize it's a terrible, terrible game. But when you're 5 or 6 years old, you're like, "I don't know, this is amazing."
Yeah, I got scared of the the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer Yeti.
I do know that guy.
I like hid behind the chair. I remember. He
Right,
came on and I got really scared.
The guy's got big teeth.
Yeah.
There's nothing cute about that guy. He's horrifying.
Very horrifying. All right, yeah. Where was?
So
I?
anyway, he played games, and then eventually he got married, and then my cousin literally looks like just a younger version of me, which is horrifying. But we're not related, which is even weirder. So we're not blood related.
Yeah.
And so it's very creepy that we look so similar, and that's a whole other story that I'm sure is somewhere there's some weird DNA testing that needs to happen.
Wait, hold on. So wait, who's your uncle's on like which side of your family? Your mom or your
My
dad?
uncle's on my mom's side of the family, and
Okay.
he married his wife who had 2 kids.
Okay.
And the 2 kids, my only male cousin comes from that marriage, and for some reason he just looks like a younger, taller version of me.
Whoa.
And I cannot explain it. My big joke is that the mailman was busy that day, but like, really, truly, it's bizarre how similar we look. I mean, not identical, but very, very close. Like, we definitely could have come from the same family. And so, yeah, my uncle, up until that point, then he like started to have a real life and shit, which boo. But up until that point, he used to play games, I think, just for fun, because it was like a thing to do.
Yeah.
And so when he would run the store he owns, he would sit in the back and like dick around on video games. And Warcraft was, when I would go there, he would be like, "Hey, if you want to play, you can." And I'd be on his work computer playing Warcraft. And I really, really liked it. So when my parents, because they would not get me a Nintendo to say, like, they just wouldn't do it. A Nintendo, a Super Nintendo would not happen. I think you can actually probably take my love of, eventually I got a Super Nintendo. I remember playing Lost Vikings on Super Nintendo and really, really liking it. So I think that's my first Blizzard experience. But Warcraft-wise, when we finally got a computer, hi everyone. There was a time when not everyone had a computer in their house.
That's true.
And we didn't all have cell phones. You actually had to go upstairs and grab the phone and then like answer it because you couldn't see who was calling you. And yeah, pagers weren't even a thing then. Like,
oh yeah, pagers.
The 80s. The 80s were a different time, kid. Yeah, so I guess Warcraft is 90 something, but it doesn't matter. The premise is that I started there, and then I really, really liked that, and then I started playing Warcraft 2, and then I played StarCraft and Warcraft 3, and I got really into Warcraft 3 and all the add-ons and the different maps and the different things like Defense of the Ancients and all that stuff, the online things that you can make with it. And then Frozen Throne came out, and I was like, wait, that's how the story ends? And then I was like, oh, on this internet machine here, it says that this really is essentially just a prequel to the MMO. And so I read about it and was like, oh, this is an interesting thing. And I never really gotten into MMOs. And then I had a brief stint playing the EverQuest PlayStation MMO.
What?
EverQuest Adventures. Because my friend Mike in senior year of high school was really into EverQuest. Like, he loved EverQuest. I think I've told the story before where we were at a party thrown at his house and he vanished. And everyone else was like, oh, damn, Mike's getting some. And I went upstairs and he's sitting there playing EverQuest. He's like, how's the party? I'm like, good. Why are you not down there? He's like, this dragon pops only once every 14 hours and we got to get this thing. I was like, oh my God. So I had to figure out what he was playing and what he was doing. So I decided to play the dumbed down version of it, which is what the PlayStation version was.
Mm-hmm.
It was okay. It wasn't the greatest game. But then Final Fantasy came out with a MMO, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta play that because I'm a big Final Fantasy nerd. So Final Fantasy 11 came out. I played the hell out of that. I had a lot of friends. I had one friend. I think Final Fantasy 11 was where I experienced my first. This is definitely a guy pretending to be a woman in order to get money from us in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that. You know what? I'm gonna say she and hope that it was in fact, just like, I don't know. It was very much, to me at least, it seemed like it was a dude scamming people in our guild. But whatever, it could have very well been.
What did they do?
Well, they would say like the big rumors, everything. They would flirt with guys and stuff, and then the guys, because men are gullible as shit, would send her things. And then she would they would be like, oh, we're gonna talk to her on the phone, but she never would. She would always like leave them a message, but it always They never have real conversations. It seemed very fishy.
Yeah,
it seemed very fishy, Crendor. And so I think that was my first experience. That was like, this seems like catfishing right here.
I love fishing for cats.
Yep. And so, but I loved it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It required a lot of grouping, which I think was a big problem for me, is you always had to be in groups. And so, in the middle of playing that, Warcraft beta started. And I was ready, because they were like, you don't need groups. You can just have fun. And it's in the Warcraft universe, and it was everything I wanted. So I jumped into the beta, and immediately joined an RP beta server. And my friends and I that were playing at the time wanted to join what was supposedly like they came from EverQuest, and they were like the hardest role players ever, and they were gonna make this game awesome, and we were gonna join them. And I remember vividly in the early beta days that they had said that each class race combo was going to have a hero class. So a Night Elf Hunter would become a Demon Hunter.
Oh shit.
And a Dwarven Warrior would have become a Thunder King or Mountain King, I believe. So like everyone had their own thing, and a Warrior Undead would become a Death Knight. And so I was like, oh my god, I want to be a Death Knight so badly. So I went to go make an Undead Warrior, and the at the time, female Undead, unlike male Undead, could crawl on the ground if they had unarmed weapons. And I was like, oh my god, it's like I'm a ghoul in Warcraft 3. This is great. Of course I want to play this way. And I decided to play an undead female warrior, and was super excited until I found out there was no unarmed weapons in the beta at all, let alone vanilla WoW, really. There's like one or two. Yeah. And it was super disappointing. But then they phased out the crawling thing and all that crap. It doesn't matter. Over the course of the beta. But the big thing that made me move on was the fact that the RP leader was like, you have to come to chat, which I think at the time was ICQ.
Yeah,
something like that. Things. Like Ventrilo. I don't know if Ventrilo. I assume Ventrilo was around then. Whatever service we used, you had to come on and then role play your character with your voice. And I was like, no, I'm out. I don't want to be a female undead for the next 5 years of my life. Like, needless to say, 11 years now. So, when the game launched, my friends and I all decided to go on a PvP server, because we were like, we're going to play together, and we're going to be awesome, and we're going to roam together and kill people. We all wanted to start in the same place, so we all figured we would make either Orc or Troll Shaman. And because there are the 3 different specs, we all decided to go one of the 3. And I decided to go Resto, because, like, I'll heal fine.
Mm-hmm.
And my character's name was Mojo Maker. My friend's character's name was Bad Mojo. And another friend's character's name was something Mojo. We were like, we were very uncreative. We were just like, trolls have mojo, so let's make Mojo.
It's like the 3 Musketeers, but with mojo.
We ran around together. Absolutely. We ran around together, and we beat up on low-level Alliance, and it felt great. And then over the course of Vanilla, the 2 of them left, and I was still around. And then for the next few expansions, before you could dual spec, I leveled as Resto, and it was a long, hard slog for me. But yeah, that was sort of how I got into WoW.
Shit, dude. Were you like teaching at the time?
I mean, at that point, no. When WoW first started, I was still in school.
Yeah.
It wasn't until, man, I think Wrath. It was either Wrath. Yeah, it was Wrath. Wrath came out while I was teaching. I think it came out right when I started teaching. So there's a lot of, there were a lot of ungraded assignments that took a while to get back to students because I had a lot of raid nights. My first big guild was one of those guilds that I was in from vanilla all the way up until Cataclysm. And like, we were hardcore raiders. We were one of the only guilds on our server to get, no guild on our server beat the first version of Naxxramas, but we were one of the ones to beat the Four Horsemen.
Oh,
and
wow.
so it was like, we thought we were hot shit. And then we got server first for all of, no, there weren't achievements yet. We got server first for most of Wrath of the Lich King, but because there weren't achievements in Burning Crusade, were there? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think it was Wrath.
Well, we claimed we were server first for all of those things in Burning Crusade. I guess I have no evidence of that, but I have a bunch of server first for Wrath. And then, when Cataclysm came out, the guild disbanded because it was stuff like, well, you can do 15 and 10 mans and stuff like that. So you don't even need to have a big guild. And so everyone ditched because like, we don't play with these assholes. And so I left the server, and then I came to Firetree, which is where we are now, I think. Or I'm on your server, whatever we are.
Yeah, I think we are.
Cross-server
But I mean, at
nonsense.
this point, it doesn't even matter. It's all the servers are essentially just one big melting pot. You're just like, I'll invite you to my server. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
So, wait, did you ever like play WoW in school?
No, God, no. I taught in a rough school. I couldn't leave those kids alone for like 2 minutes. The building would burn down. No. There was none of that. Like, oh yes, well, guess I'll leave you kids to it then. No, I go play this Warcraft thing. No, I never did. And I was lucky that when Cataclysm started to roll out, that I guess not lucky. Well, I guess lucky. When Cataclysm started to roll out and I was really into seeing what that was about, I totally it was summer when the beta was happening, so I didn't have any school.
Mm-hmm.
And I just dicked around doing that during the summer and like put videos up on MMO Champion and sort of like fight Total Biscuit to see if you get on the front page. And then, what?
I remember that. So I
Yeah.
remember I was trying to get on the front page too, but they didn't like me.
I don't think you like me either. Probably would not put me up. I got 2 videos up there and that was it. TV got the rest. I was so mad. It's like, this TV guy's pissing me off.
It's because he had the classic radio, like, here I am with another fantastic article. And he is just like the big time boisterous voice journalist.
Yeah, I
man.
learned I couldn't do that. I was like, I'm flying over this area of Daenerys. It's totally changed. No one cared. TV's like, meanwhile, as I survey the lands far beyond. Like, I can't beat this guy. Can't do it.
Yep, still can't beat him. That's why you
But
joined
anyway,
him.
yeah, that's absolutely right. Yeah. I mean, really what happened is as legend tells, since I've told the story 12 million times, in October of my 3rd year of teaching, 4th year, one of those, it all really blends together, I'll be honest with you. A whole bunch of us teachers were laid off, and so I didn't have any job, and you can't find a job in October as a teacher. So I was broke. I had rent due on my apartment. Like, I couldn't do anything. So I had to give up my apartment. I had to sell pretty much everything. At the time, my prized possession was a signed panel sheet from comic book artist J. Scott Campbell from one of, I think, like a Gen 13 comic, like way back in the day, which I was a huge fan of. And it was, all I remember is I sold it to some guy in Torrance, California for $5,000. And that's what kept me afloat. It was super rare and super important, like to me at least. And this guy who was, as I've come to realize now, a pretty famous bodybuilder at the time, bought it from me for $5,000. And so that's what kept me afloat. I sold everything. I sold my furniture. The only thing I didn't sell was my computer because I'm a giant nerd. But I sold everything else and then moved back in with my parents for from October 2010 until late 2011. And wait. I was like, I like went and moved home, and I literally was just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know what's gonna happen. And then December 2010, TV was like, there's this thing called the Game Station, and they're going to pay us quite a handsome sum to join them and play video games. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, if you want in, this dear chap named Husky will help us out, and I think he can get us signed up. And I was like, okay, sure, let's try this thing. And it started out where I made like that first month like $60, and I was like, damn, I'm making money.
Yeah.
And then the next month I made like 120, and the next month I made I don't remember how much. Like, it exponentially kept growing every month, and I was like, shut up. And I remember it was summer 2011 when I made the same in a month playing video games as I had teaching.
Oh, wow.
And that was the first time that my parents were like, oh, you might actually be onto something. Up until that point, for a good 6-7 months, they were just like, what are you doing? Why aren't you out trying to get a job? What are you doing? I'm like, I'm working, Mom. They're like, we don't get it. What are you doing?
Looks like you're playing video games.
Yeah, and then I just started making more and more and more, and I was like so blown away. And I realized like I could do this. This is a job I could do. And that was during Cataclysm. So it was, OMFG Cata came from the fact that at the time, OMFG was a radio station, like an online radio station that came out of WoW Radio. Yeah. So when WoW Radio died, OMFG came out of that. And so I made OMFG Cata as a part of that station to promote the game. And so we were like, yeah, we'll promote it through here. We'll promote the channel and the website and all this stuff, and it'll be great. And then that immediately, that shut down maybe 2 months later. And so I had this channel, and I was like, well, it has views and numbers. There's no point in starting a new one. So I just kept using it. And that's why I'm still listed as OMFG Cata, even though you can go to Jesse Cox and see it. Yeah,
now, it's like the WoW Radio. How'd you get into the WoW Radio?
Man.
Because I remember TB had his Blue Please show.
Yeah, I was not a part of WoW Radio. I was a guy who wanted to be a part of WoW Radio.
Oh, I see.
So I did a lot of voice acting for Machinima back in the day. Things with Clint Hackelman and things with Oxhorn and Ian Beckman. I'm trying to think of all the big Machinimators back in the day. Yeah. But like all those guys, Tristan Pope, all those guys who are Taryn Gregory, our dear friend Taryn.
Good old Taryn.
Yeah, like for all those guys, I did voices for, because in college, my big dream, my fantasy was to be a voice actor, because I was dating a girl at the time who was really into anime.
Mm-hmm.
And so I watched all these really important anime, and like Cowboy Bebop inspired the hell out of me. I was like, oh my God, the English voices are actually really good. This is so impressive. I would love to do that. And so I was during college auditioning for things, and because I was in New York, I could go around different places and try to audition for voices and things like that. And I worked at a radio station, and I loved all of it, but it was all low man the totem pole work and not really enjoyable. And so
when you say worked at a radio station, do you mean like you just like mopped up the floor, or did you actually like do...
No, I had a show that was on from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. every Saturday and Sunday.
What was it?
It was like a crappy like radio. It wasn't like a special like, hey, you're listening to Creepy Jesse on the radio. It was just playing music. It was like a music radio station. But because it was 1 to 5, for those who don't know, at a radio station, you have requirements of what you have to play every hour. This song so many times every hour,
mm-hmm.
Which is why you hear certain songs way more than others, especially new songs. But because it was 1 to 5 a.m., they really didn't care. So they were like, yeah, play like these 3 songs tonight a few times. Doesn't matter. So I'd like play all the bands I loved. And it was great. I had a ton of fun doing it. But that ended when I went to a party. My station manager had a big party at his place, and there was an open bar. And this is the story of why I don't drink too heavily anymore.
Right.
It was an open bar, and the bartender was like, I make a mean El Presidente, and I don't know what the hell that was, but I kept drinking them because they were delicious. And then, end of story, I puked on my boss's Porsche. So, not Porsche, just so we're all clear.
Yeah.
And he was furious and fired me the next day. So, that's a lesson I learned. But I really loved the idea of radio, and WoW radio was cool because it's something I loved. I loved Warcraft. I loved the idea of this, and then TV was on there, and he was like the shock jock, and he's like, blue please. And like Jenna was involved, his wife at the time. Well, not at the time, but like
do the stick cam.
Yeah.
Because I was watching his stick cams. And all those people were popping up on the thing, and I'd just watch all the other people like trying to get in there. They're just like, I'm on the stick cam, and then he'd like be like, oh yes, there's stick camera 454. How are you doing? And he had his like funny little hat. He was also he looked very young there.
Yes, yeah. Young TV is
biscuit.
horrifying because you're like, I don't know that I like this one. I don't know that I like you young.
That's true.
Yeah, I just want to be a part of it. And so what ended up happening is, because I did Machinima and did all these voices, they had a contest. I don't remember what the rewards were, but I know they were enough that I wanted to be involved. Mm-hmm. And so it was, you had to make a song. And so I did Take On Me, but Raid With Me was the name of the song. And it's quite bad, but it got second place, and I'll take it. Which means that there weren't very many entries, which I'm okay with.
Right.
Yeah, and that happened. And so because of that, I got to know TB and Jenna, and then because we were pretty competitive in trying to get things uploaded to MMO Champion during Cataclysm, we sort of grew closer, and that's how I ended up moving into this world of YouTube.
How long did you do the OMF Gcata show?
I don't think I had a show on OMF Gcata. I can't remember. Maybe I did. I know I had a show on 10 Ton Hammer.
Oh yeah, that one. That's the one I meant.
10 Ton Hammer. Immediately after OMF Gcata failed, I did a show on 10 Ton Hammer, and then that ended after like maybe 6 or 7 episodes. Spoiler, guys. Not many things run well on the internet. Like, if there's not money involved, people get really worn out very quickly.
That is true.
So if you have a pet project, or like you want to create a video or something, pay people, and then they'll work harder for you.
People love money.
It's true.
That's a
Fandom only
lesson.
gets you so far. You gotta give people what they're worth, or else they'll bug out eventually.
I remember because I don't know how I found it, but I found that show. Or no, I think somebody I knew. I think it was like one of those Machinima people.
I
like
think it might have been Danielle. It might have been Trade Chat.
Maybe it was Trade Chat.
She was one of the first people we had on to interview. It very well could have been her.
Yeah, because I remember that. And then I remember I want to go on that show. And so I posted as not me. And I was like, you should have Crendor on. He's a cool guy. He makes videos.
Awesome.
And then I don't think I ever got on because I didn't. But that's probably because it ran out of money.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I think the whole website was losing money as far as I remember. But it was one of those things at the time where everyone was just trying to cash in on the internet radio craze, which is now just the podcast craze. But It was the same thing. Live radio programs, which I guess is like live streams now, technically.
Yeah. It's all entertainment. You just got to be entertaining. That's the key. Everybody will like you as long as you're entertaining. That's going to be my book. It's going to be called Be Entertaining.
Just with an exclamation. Be entertaining!
Yeah, all right. Oh yeah, this is where I normally ask you about your favorite memories just in WoW. Like, for example, I had my memory where I accidentally ninja'd Broodlord's head, and everyone got mad at me, and I lost DKP. So what's some of your favorite memories?
all my memories revolve around salt and hatred. I vividly remember that, and to this day, you can go watch videos. I think it's on the internet somewhere, where I literally lose my mind at one of our tanks in our guild because he just kept dying, and everyone's like, "Heal him!" I'm like, "What do you do? He's so bad. He's so bad." Like, I just lose my mind. And to this day, they still give me shit because I lost it. I was so salt filled. But like good memories, good fun memories. I remember exactly how I felt when we defeated Arthas. I remember, and like how excited I was that battle was even in the game. I remember just how amazing it was that at the last day possible. Hold on, I'm about to show you. The last day that you could possibly get it, I got this bad boy, which is like my one true troll thing. You just can't get it anymore. Like the very last day possible, I got it. Was so thrilled. Yeah, I've played this game for 11 years. I have so many memories that are just, you know, it sticks with you. And it's just about your friends. Like, I remember this one guy in our guild who could not pronounce anything in this game correctly. And so when we were in Strathholm, he'd be like, "Watch out for the cadavers!" And we're like, "What?" He's like, "The cadavers!" I'm like, "Cadavers?" The cadavers. And to this day, I still say cadavers because of that guy. Yeah, this is a game that you make a ton of friends in, and you meet all sorts of people, right? Like yourself and like TB. I grew up. My career is owed to this game. So, you know, I started with playing it. All the connections I have in Blizzard is because I did machinima early on, and all those machinimators ended up working there. Mm-hmm. You know, I have all these voice acting friends that I know from that community that have gone on to do amazing things. Some of the guys who did voice acting with me in early machinima, when I saw Logan a few weekends ago, they were listed under the ADR credits.
Whoa.
As I was like, shut up! These dudes from back in the day are like doing basically like dub overs in important movies. That's so cool. And just to see how far it's interesting that 2004, 2005, 2006 period, almost everyone that I knew from that period who was in my peer group then has gone on to something bigger and better in this industry, I guess you would say.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really interesting to me that that's the case. And I haven't seen that. There is no like 2010 group, right? I don't see that.
Yeah.
There is. I think
Those
this game
are just
spawned
like us, where we're just kind of like here fishing.
Like
we haven't really done much. We're just kind of, you know.
It was a weird time. I think everyone in that time period who was involved in the early stages of WoW really lucked out because it helped build kind of the Blizzard community we have today.
Yeah. I mean, I just used it to get through school. That was great.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think any of us realized at that time that what we were doing for fun and to relax and for enjoyment. Like, I did the voice acting stuff because I was like, this is super fun. And I get to pretend that I'm an orc.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's like we get paid for that kind of stuff, which is crazy to me. It still is crazy to me. I will never be okay with the life I lead. Like, I still consider it to be an insane aberration on reality. And every time people are like, how does it feel? I'm like, I don't know. You'll ask me. Ask me what I constantly feel like it's all going to crumble around me and I'm going to end up broke and have to walk into the ocean, let the tide take me. Because I'm like, I can't. Once you, like, it's a blessing. This job is a blessing. And so I can't even begin to say, like, how thankful I am that this is where I'm at. It's insane to me.
It is insane. It's like when you're in school and they're like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And you're like, play video games. And they're like, you can't do that. And it's like, but I just did.
Right?
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's such a weird time. It's a weird time that this is a thing. And it's something that could not have happened 10 years ago. And something that probably won't be around 10 years from now.
It's even hard to get into now because now it's very saturated with everybody being like, there's gold in them video games.
Yeah, I think that you and I and a few others lucked out in that our audiences continue to grow, but at a steady pace, and we don't flare out. Like, there's a lot of people who explode because of one game, and then once that game's over, no one watches them anymore.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of people who became super, super, super famous, and then they end up being like a crazy person. Mm-hmm. And then, like, I mean, there's
they, like,
so
buy
many.
a mansion and drugs, and then they use all the drugs in their mansion, and then they like run out of money because nobody cares about the thing anymore, and then they're just like in the paparazzi, and then they're dead. Yeah,
like, I'm just thrilled that I have a job that I can say, okay, this job pays the bills, and I get to do something I love. Like, I'm not about, I'm gonna make $12 million, and then I'm gonna go spend it all in Vegas. Like, that's not the life I live. The life I live is like, I have a very successful career, and I'm very excited about that. Thank you.
Exactly. I just want to live comfortably, go to IKEA, get a couple hamburgers, and then,
You're a man of simple tastes. I get it.
That's all I want. I've already seen enough of the world, aside from, like, Japan.
Oh, my God, I want to go to Japan so badly. You have no clue. I want to go to Japan, and I want to get, like, I want to go to Akihabara and get all the weird stuff. I want to go to the weird places. I want to have someone clean out my ears. I want to have, like, what's that one thing where, like, they pour bubble bath on themselves and they rub all over? I want that.
Oh yeah, the scrub.
I want the robots. I want every weird thing they have to offer. I want to experience it because it's just so different. Yeah. It literally, it does. I'm not like, ooh, that's hot. It don't even care. I just want to experience. I'm a man who likes experiencing things.
Weird.
Yeah. Like, I like the idea of traveling because I've downsized. I live in, like, a much smaller, like, apartment. I don't have very much stuff at home. Everything's at the office. I'm trying to, like, live a life of experiences rather than possessions.
Yeah.
And so far, Japan is my next experience list. I want to go do that.
Yeah, but I like my possessions.
You know what? Eventually, you'll hit a point where you're like, God, I have so much garbage.
Well, I have hit that point. I hit it a while ago, but I get rid of a lot of stuff, but I like a certain few possessions.
Oh, well,
right?
I'm like that too. I don't keep a lot of things and have a lot of stuff, but every, like, fan thing that I have, if I don't have a place for it, I have, like, a whole storage locker of just, like, crates of fan things. I'm like, I'll never get rid of, because one day I have to prove to my grandkids that I was cool on the internet.
That's not true. You can be like, watch my videos.
Yeah. Oh, yes, it is. And I open up this locker and there's a bunch of stuff in there, and they'll be like, whoa. Yeah, that's my dream. I'd be like, suck it, Jimmy.
You could show them your videos, but are you afraid they'll delete them?
I am convinced. There was a lot of services that I posted. I used to do anime music videos back in the day. Whoa. And that's how I learned to edit things. And that's how I learned to... It really helped with creating how I make my content, where I try to make it a little more episodic and have cliffhangers at the ends of things. It's based off of that early editing. And I made those, and they were all over the internet. I had one that was really, really popular for Final Fantasy VIII that I made for a group that I was a part of. And it was amazing. It was this RPG group, and it was straight up me and, like, 5 girls. I don't know how it happened. I can't tell you why it happened, but I was, like, the luckiest late teenager ever. I don't know what, 19, a young adult. I was luckiest young adult ever. And so I made this video that was Final Fantasy VIII. It was a music video, and it was all over the internet and became really, really popular. And to this day, if you were to look it up now, you'd have a hard time finding it. I think some guy reposted it on YouTube, but it used to be everywhere. Now it's not. Huh. And that was like a big thing. That was like, ooh, I'm important on the internet. Internet importance is fleeting, my friends. Trust and believe. I've been down that rabbit hole.
That's true. It's all about just, you got to either write a book, write 2 books, hope one of them becomes a movie, and then, don't write the ending to the books. Just, like, have the TV show or the movie do the ending, and then you don't have to write anything.
I think, yeah, I mean, even then, though, your fame of I have a movie that I wrote, or fame is fleeting. Like, fame does not last, no matter who you are. And that's why you see a lot of Hollywood people go nuts trying to keep it. And
yeah, but then, here's the thing.
There's no but then.
You can go on a reality show. You
yeah,
can
but that's
go
still
on
like
Dancing
grasping
with the Stars.
for the stars again. Yeah, Dancing with the Stars that's the bottom. When you hit there, you're like, I got nowhere else to go.
Old people will love you.
I don't.
Why can
People
he move?
struggle to keep their fame, especially on the internet. My God, which is why you see people who, when they see numbers slipping or they see people don't care about them anymore, they immediately turn to saying crazy, insane things.
Yeah,
it's like now people will care. Like, stop.
It is weird how fame hungry people get. You're always with me. You're always gonna get what you get. That's what I
hear
mean.
you, dude.
Yeah.
I have no desire to be like, I see, for those, I don't know, maybe we told the story, I don't remember, but before PAX South, our signing was right after Jacksepticeye's signing.
Mm-hmm.
And I see him and I see the insanity his life is. And I'm like, you know what? I'm good. I'm real good. I like moderate success on the internet.
Yeah.
Like,
you hit a point where it's
good.
like crazy levels.
Yeah.
Like you can't go outside anymore.
Yeah, I like the ability to, like, if fans come meet us, I like the ability to be like, all right, we're going to give all of you as much time as you need and want.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just going to, thank you for waiting. If you're going to come see us, then we'll hang out with you. But
I always find it crazy too, because some people are like, "Wow, I wanted to see this person," and they just like left because they're like, "I don't got time anymore." And I'm like, I don't think we've ever done that where we were just like, "Get out of here."
Right? I couldn't. I don't know that I could emotionally handle turning someone away. Right? Like, and that might make me a sucker, like the worst person ever. I know one guy messaged me and was like, "You took forever in the line, and I just wanted to see you, and it took like 2 hours to get up to the front." I'm like, I'm really sorry. There were a bunch of people in front of you, but also those people still waited too. So like, chill, my dude.
Yeah, you gotta wait. Life's about waiting. You wait, and then you die. So it's like
you wait to die. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, you know what? You're gonna wait for something else anyway. You're gonna wait in the grocery store. You're gonna wait at Best Buy. You're going to wait for a YouTube video to load. You're going to wait for an ad to play. So, just wait.
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm talking about.
I would gladly stand around and sign stuff and take photos and listen to people and talk with them, because if they're gonna wait, then I feel like they deserve my time, right? And so when I see Jack or Mark or someone who just, their lines are insane, I feel terrible because they have to cut them off. Yeah. And so there are all these people who are just like in tears. Leaving PAX, there was a little boy and a mom who were just furious because they had driven from someplace to see Jack and they couldn't. And that's the only reason why they were there, and they were so mad. And I was just like, man, I would feel terrible. But you can't. Like, if you're Jack, you can't feel that way. Yeah. Because that will eat you up, and there's only so much you can do because there's only one of you, and there's so many people who want your attention, want to talk to you. I do not envy that position. And I know a lot of people are like, but the fame and the money. Trust me, there's certain extents to that where it's too much. It's too much. So I sympathize with that dude times a million, and he's a good man. Like, Jack's a good man, and I feel for him when I see like people losing their shit. Like, there was this one girl who started crying when Jack left and did not stop crying even after our signing was done. She was crying for like 2.5 hours right in front of us, like sitting there with her friends just sobbing, and I felt so bad. I was just gonna be like, can we do anything for you? But then it would have been like the one girl who ended up coming at the very end of our line, who her dad was like, hey, do you want to take a photo with these YouTubers? And she's like, no.
I mean, to be fair, even I didn't want to take a photo with us.
Yeah, I wouldn't have taken a photo with us.
Yeah.
We're no Jack.
No. We're like the old men of the internet at this point.
I just feel, I feel thankful
we're not hip.
that
We're not cool, but we're there.
Yeah, I feel thankful that that's where I'm at, where I can people will be like, "Oh, I know you from something," and I'm like, "That's perfect."
Yeah, it's like
Thank you.
said, it's just like the NBA. We're great bench players. We're
Yeah,
top
yeah.
quality.
We still get the ring at the end of the day.
Yeah,
we
we
just don't
still
have to
get
play.
the ring. I'll come in. I'll hit a 3. Everybody will cheer. I'll be like, yeah, I've got a couple 3s in my day. And then, you can come in, you get a slam dunk, the crowd cheers, you go back on the bench, and then you cheer on LeBron.
Yeah, LeBron's got to get his water break in. I come out, dunk it. All right, LeBron, pat him on the back, send him back in.
Yeah, that's how I feel we are, and I like that.
I'm okay with it. I'm solidly okay with it. And I think it's one of those weird things, too, where because where we're at, like, sort of in the middle, we can see both ends. We see the really crappy side of fame from the people who are, like, super famous, and then we also see the sweet, innocent, striving side of it for the people who are just starting.
Mm-hmm.
And we see both sides, and we're just like, we're essentially the two old men in the Muppet Show.
Yeah.
Who are just talking shit outside of the actual show. Like, oh, this is terrible. That's us, really.
It is. I always wanted to be a Muppet.
I feel like you're on your way.
Yeah.
You're very close.
All right. Well, I guess that stemmed out of WoW memories.
Yeah, I don't know how we got there. I don't know how that happened.
I don't know how I got anywhere, but here I am. So let's see, what else do I normally ask? I haven't done this show in so long, and the last one I did was with Grant Kirkhope. Great guy, great music, great stuff.
Yeah, I feel terrible. I can't even compete with that. Like, I too played Banjo-Kazooie. Like, I don't know what to say.
Dude, that guy, he didn't even get his job until he was like 32 or something. And he was just like, I sent in a rare tape, and they were just like, all right, come make music. And just like, he said his life was just a series of accidents.
I relate to that incredibly. I wouldn't be doing YouTube if it wasn't for being kicked out of a teaching job. So, I understand a series of accidents. Most of the stuff I do is accidental. Even the terrible things. Even things that get the internet after me, and they're like, oh, you're terrible, and we hate you. I'm like, I thought it was going to be funny. I didn't know they would piss everyone off. Like, that's the story of my life. Like, I just wanted to make someone laugh. I didn't think I'd anger the world. Sorry.
Classic life story.
Yeah, man. That happens to me all the time. I'm like, I thought I was making it funny. You're a terrible person, Jesse. All right. I'll go back in my hole.
Just like that troll running around there. He's just a new guy. He's never even played World of Warcraft. He's watching us fish now.
Yeah.
He's
But he
probably
sees
like,
me.
wow.
He knows, like, one day that could be me. Actually, it can't because he's a mage. Druid. Oh, he's a druid. Get out of here.
Druid.
Gross.
Yeah, those troll druids.
Troll druid. Ugh.
Disgusting.
The shaman in me is disgusted.
Back in my day, you had Taran and you had a night elf druid. That's all you had. That's all you could have.
Oh. And only paladins were on the alliance. That was a good time.
Mm-hmm. I remember
Good
when
time.
they announced that. Because I think we were raiding, or like we were going to raid. And then everyone was like, did you hear? You can be a shaman on the alliance and a paladin on the horde. And I was like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I remember that as well. More importantly, I remember one of our first videos together ever was a video called WoW is Dead.
Whoa.
And it was a spoof of that.
Oh, yeah.
And it was literally like everything that WoW ever did. That was like, now the Horde have paladins. We're like, WoW is dead. And then it was like something else like, yeah, now there's Draenei. WoW is dead. Like all that shit was just like, wow, goblins. WoW is dead.
I forgot about that video.
That was a long time ago, man.
Is that video still a thing?
Maybe.
I don't even know if it's still a thing. I remember that though. I forgot about that. I remember the like every day I'm shuffling video. But
Yeah,
I forgot
that
about
was
the
a while
Dead
ago
one.
too. Yeah. Man, that was so low. It was like 6 years ago.
Yeah, it was. Because I
That was
remember
so long ago.
we made that, and then I saw you at BlizzCon, but I didn't really know you yet. And I was like, it's me, Crendor. And you were like, oh, hey. And I was like, maybe I'll see you around. Little did I know, I didn't know a lot.
Little did I know, I didn't know a lot. That's the truest thing you've ever said.
I was young, I was hairless, and I had a dream.
You were young and hairless. That's true.
Yeah.
You were as clean shaven as a baby's butt.
Yeah. And I think now I've made up for it with.
Oh yeah, you've gone in a horrible direction. The exact opposite. You used to be an upstanding young man.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
I don't either. I think YouTube happened. That's what happened.
YouTube did this to you? YouTube did this to you?
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't put the blame on them.
All right, the internet. All right, where am I going with this? I don't know. It was probably a good time to end it all.
Oh my God! Don't do that. You're loved on the internet. People love you. Don't.
I'm just gonna jump in.
No. No. The tide takes them away.
I remember when I actually could drown, and the breath meter was in like 8 years.
There was a time when that's not only true, but trolls, one of their racials was they could stay underwater more than anyone else.
Oh, yeah. Or no, I thought it was undead.
I believe it was trolls had breath, underwater breath. Maybe it was undead too, question mark?
Maybe it was both. I know. Maybe you mean maybe shamans had it.
Maybe. We always had water rock.
Water whack.
Water whack. We always had water whack. Water whack sounds like the name of a very fun amusement park. Water whack.
I thought it was just like
an amusement park game where you bash
little
trolls on the head.
Yeah.
Water whack.
Water whack. I was gonna say it sounds like the third evolution of a Cubone. There's like Cubone, Marowak, and then Waddle-Whack.
Waddle-Whack. Waddle-Whack.
All right.
Is that it? There's no more questions?
I don't got any more questions. All my questions are just like, how do you get into it, and what are your favorite memories? I may have had one more, but then...
I thought it was going to be like you had really in-depth questions. Like, do you remember the first time you killed a Nubarak? What was your damage at that battle? Then you're going to hit me with some real questions.
Listen. I thought you've known me by now. There's no way I was gonna come up with some real questions for anything. Usually I just feed off. I feed off the energy, right? Here's the thing, okay? Whenever I see these interview shows, okay, where they're like, I've prepared a list of questions for you, they're always just it's like those articles we read where they ignore the story, right?
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
So they're just like, I was watching Grant Kirkhope videos. These people were like, what did you do with the Donkey Kong rap? And he was like, oh yeah, and he like went in depth, and then they like cut him off, and they were like, right, so next question. And I was like, what? You cut him off?
Basically, you operate under the exact same principle as the police. Let them keep talking till they incriminate themselves.
Yeah.
And then
Pretty sure you incriminated yourself like 3 times this episode.
Oh yeah, I'm going to jail. They're taking me away. Someone's coming for me.
Going to jail. You're getting audited.
Oh God, that's what I need.
Whole bunch of stuff coming.
Yep.
Yeah, I like this show. I think of fishing as just like 2 guys in a boat. You got a beer, you're just chilling, and you're talking.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever asked you questions?
I think so, actually. But I don't remember.
What's your least favorite WoW memory? And don't say right now. Please don't say right now. Don't you do it. Don't you do it.
I wouldn't do that. It's the easy way out. I'm not about the easy way out.
I'm asking you tough questions. I don't want to say least favorite because that's mean.
Yeah.
What memory? What's your saltiest WoW memory? That's what I mean. What's your saltiest one?
Yeah. I know that right off the top of my head. I was on my hunter, my Billy character. He was my first ever level 60, and I was trying to gear up to go to the Molten Core, as one did. So
as you do.
I was in what was one of those old instances you had to do? Not Blackrock Spire. It's the one with all the undead.
Lower Blackrock?
No, the one with the undead in it.
Stratholme.
Yeah, Stratholme. Stratholme, that was it. The undead strat. And I wanted to get my Beast Stalker boots. I wanted those Beast Stalker boots so
Man,
badly.
that is old school. That is going back. All right, yeah.
I know. This was like some 2005, 6, somewhere around there. I wanted those Beast Stalker boots. So, I went in, and I ran it like a billion times. I never got them. And then they dropped. And I was like, oh my god, I'm going to get them. And I think this was back when you just rolled or you passed. There was no like
the loot
meter.
system at the beginning was pretty
Yeah.
jank. Like it was ripe for ninja.
Yeah, there is no need or greed or whatever that thing. So I was like, all right. So I rolled, and I was like, yes, I'm going to get these Beast Stalker boots. They finally dropped. And then some ass clown shaman guy rolled on him, and he got him. And I was so mad because I'd ran that so many times, and I wanted those boots, and I was just trying to gear up, and I was like, they're not even for you. They're not even for you. They're for hunters. And he's like, I could wear them. And
Yeah,
I was
he
just,
probably wasn't like an enhancement shaman.
yeah. It was
Those
an
are
ass
actually probably were actually good for him.
They probably were, but that's not the point. They were hunter gear. I needed my hunter gear, and I'm pretty sure that probably motivated me to make a priest. Because I was like, you know what? Nobody needs priest gear. Everybody wants healers. So I went and made my priest, and I named him Crendor. And that was my story. I could have kept playing. I could have not even been me.
What was that character? Yeah, what was that character's name? That original character?
It was Kagon.
Kagon? How come
Yeah.
everyone's first character is super tryhardy?
Because, I don't know. I was a
Everyone's
tryhard.
first character is always, they spend 25 minutes trying to come up with the perfect name. And they're like, yeah, I'll be Azrael Abyss.
Well, I
And
think it was
then-
because there's like Kangar. Someone was named Kangar, and I liked it, but I didn't want to make it like that, so I made Kagon.
That's impressive. That's an impressive name. It's
Yeah.
a good start.
But then
And
when I
then
made
you were
my
like-
priest name, I randomized it, and I randomly
saying-
got like what was it? It was something similar to Crendor. It was like Crendorn with a
And
K.
you were like, N? No.
It was like Crendorn with an N, and then I changed the K to a C and just got rid of the end, and I was like, that sounds good.
It is good. It's a good, strong name.
It's a good, strong name. Very strong. You can lift many weights. Run countries.
Dozens of weights.
Believe me.
Believe him. All right. Hold on. I got more questions for you.
All right. Shoot him.
What do you remember was the first guild leader you had? Like, tell me about your first guild leader.
All right, first guild leader. Oh shit! I joined. This is like Deus something. It's something Deus, and I remember is this guy who was in the Marines, and he like ended up getting married to someone who was in the guild, and he was a cool guy, but then she was like flirting with other people in the guild, and then they had like some big like fallout, and then they got back together. And then I think they were just like together after that. Yeah.
Did I ever tell you about the BlizzCon where I was in the bathroom? This was BlizzCon. This was years ago. This is 2012 or 13, I think. One of those years.
Right.
Maybe it's 2011. I think it might have been BlizzCon 2011. In the bathroom, a guy was crying because his girlfriend hooked up with the guild leader at BlizzCon. And I'll never forget that. I was like, this is the most BlizzCon moment that could ever happen.
Shit, dude. That's like they probably like came there together too. And it's like, all right,
Right,
and then
that's
it's
what I'm
just
saying. Like, that's ruthless. I was like, whoa, this poor guy. He was so sad. And I know that story happened because to this day, people will still message me that tweet that I tweeted out then that was like, oh my god, you'll never guess what happened, internet. Yeah, I was just thinking about my first guild leader, who was pretty much the same. I think everyone's first guild leader, if you were back in Vanilla WoW, was that guy who was dating someone in the guild, and their relationship affected everyone in the guild.
Yeah.
Because my guy, we were in Nax. I remember this because it was the first time I realized that DKP and looting and all that stuff is garbage anyway.
Yeah.
There were these gloves. I don't remember if she was a priest or she was a mage, but I know it was a cloth set. The guild leader would constantly give her the gloves, and people were like, "Why? What? Why? Everyone else needs those gloves." And he's like, "Well, one's for her herbalism enchant, one's for her like some other enchant, and then one's for her to buff so she can use it in combat." And we were like, "What?" What? And he's like, "Well, I don't want her to be unprotected. It's a PvP server." And we were like, "Oh my god, dude." Yeah, it was a dark time for our guild. We were not happy. We were like, "What is your problem?" Needless to say, spoiler, they did not work out. Who would have guessed?
I mean, I would have guessed.
It was so dumb. But I think that's something everyone has experienced at some point.
Yeah.
Because it's such a close-knit community, and of course, like, love will bloom inside guilds, and like, you know, positions of power will attract. Like, so dumb. It's such a like microcosm and little tiny ecosystem.
Yeah.
Of,
but then you always
the
have
real
like,
world.
you always have, yeah, it teaches you about the real world.
It does. Look, I have said, I will fund someone to do a research paper that is a compare and contrast between the hatred Horde and Alliance players on PvP servers have for each other with tensions in the Middle East. Right? Because it's one of those things, like, no one particularly cares how or why it started. They just know that, boy, do we hate each other.
That's true.
And it's like, I have no problem. Like, it's one of those things where you, while leveling, were probably killed by an Alliance player. And so now you will go out and you will go kill an Alliance player. And then that Alliance player will be like, "Well, I hate Horde players now." And then they'll take it out on... It's a perpetual cycle. And then eventually you hit max level, and then you could fly, and then you could drop down from the sky and kill people. Or
and then you take their oil.
I mean, technically that's something you could do in Pandaria.
Yeah. Oh my god. It's all coming together.
Yeah. It's... I would fund that study.
I remember
a good solid paper.
We had this one friend in WoW, in vanilla WoW, named Vates. And he is like a Fury Warrior. And nobody played Fury Warrior then, but he played it so well that people allowed him in the raid, and he would out DPS everyone. And he had like rogue gear on. And it was crazy. But I think one day he was just like, "I'm bored of WoW," and he quit. It was in Burning Crusade. And then I think he just went crazy.
I've had a few of those. Again, it's like a microcosm. It's all the people that you would meet in real life, but they're all crammed into a video game.
Yeah.
So you get your crazies every now and again. You get your really nice people. You get your assholes. You get all walks of life. And I think it's super interesting. And because WoW... I mean, real talk, I've said this for a while, and I'll continue to say it. At its core, the draw of continuing to play because of the game element is secondary now to community.
Yeah.
I think the reason people keep playing is because the friends that they've made are still in the game, and they want to continue being friends with them, and that's how they communicate with them, because they're all over the world. And then this is the outlet for that. And so Blizzard making it more fun or adding things to it, like, that helps. That gets people to come back and check out what's new. But overall, the reason why you have the hardcore committed players, the millions and millions of people that play, is because they're community and the friends they have.
Yeah. It is like real life. It's like you could go down to Al's, potato shack, get a potato, and it's gonna be an alright experience. But if you bring some friends there, you've created a moment, and a fun moment, and you can go anywhere at that point. You can go to you can go find some rocks. You can go fish in the Echo Isles. You can go whatever. It's like you just go do a thing with a friend, and it's like, wow, that was that much better.
Yeah, it all comes down to experiences. It goes back to my new life theory. It's about the experience. All the items you collect in this game will eventually be useless.
Yeah.
Much like in life, will eventually be useless, but it's the experiences along the way.
You need to write a book called The Experiences.
The experiences, yeah. Wow experiences. Oh,
Sounds
wait, hold
catchy.
on. Gaining experience. Gaining XP.
Yeah. There
That's
it is.
That's the book. Gaining XP about how World of Warcraft, just like life, isn't about the items you collect or the achievements you get, because eventually those fall to the wayside. It's about the experiences you had along the way to get those. It was never about getting that shoulder pad that you wanted. It was about the fun you had with your friends and the trials you had to get the shoulder pads. Boom! That's a book.
Damn. I like it. I'd buy that book. That's a journey, not the destination book.
Right? Yeah, that's one of those, like, I walked in the forest for 3 months books.
Yeah.
Except it was me at a computer playing WoW for 11 years.
But you could have walked through some forests in the
true.
game.
I even flew. Get
Yeah,
out of here,
you can fly through the
forest
forest.
walkers. I flew through a forest. I flew through Avatar before it was Avatar.
I've seen Booty Bay destroyed and rebuilt.
Yeah,
Tell you what.
I've seen inside that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
he's a pointless top
treasure
10.
in there.
Yeah, he's so pointless. I've seen him there. That's
I'm
pointless.
making a new one of those. You should go watch it. 'Cause I'm gonna upload it before this.
Oh, okay. I will then. I've already watched it.
You should watch all of them so I can get views.
I've watched all of them. I do watch them all.
Shit, dude.
I know.
Nice. That's why I like that series, because it's about the little things. I remember I posted my thing about mining nodes, and someone's like, "Really? Mining nodes?" And I was like, it's about
Pointless
like
is
so
in the
much-
title, sir.
It's pointless. And someone was like, "You've fallen from grace." And I was like, I've never been at grace. All right. I used to make videos where I'd be like, "Hey, what are you doing over there?" And it's like, "Oh, I'm playing a video game." That's not grace. If anything,
That's so funny.
I've
You
gone higher
fallen.
than I used to be.
Fallen from mining nodes, you've fallen from grace.
It's like it's the whole point of this series. Like I don't get how they don't get it.
Oh man,
There's some cool looking mining nodes.
there
I thought
are.
that was like better than some of the other ones. They're awesome.
I want to know how you found. There's so many mining nodes. How did you find them? How did you find the cool looking ones?
Well, you put it into Google mining nodes, and you look for some, and then you go to like Wowhead, and you look through all of them, and they got pictures, and then you go find them in the game, and you gotta say, is this good enough to like be recorded, and then you record it.
I would have just randomly flown into a zone and be like, yeah, this will do.
Well, that's why you're not doing the pointless top 10s. I'm committed.
You are committed, or should be.
I'm
You
like
should be
Jiro
committed.
Dreams of Sushi. I'm like, I've got the best mining node finders. You go find these nodes.
Is that what it's about? I would have thought it was about sushi, but the man mines nodes.
It's about the quality ingredients to form a dish that's going to be consumed.
And that dish is pointless. You're right.
Yeah. Now you're getting it.
I am getting it. It's all coming together now.
Yeah. Also, listen to our podcast.
That would be cool. Yeah, you should.
Yeah, it's a good podcast. We've done it 130 times.
A lot of times. There's enough hours there that you could start our podcast and keep listening to it over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
There's no moral there. Just start our podcast and keep listening to it over and over again.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
All
That would be awesome.
right. I think that's a good place to end. So,
With shameless promotion. All right. I will
Yeah.
stop. I'm not going to ask you any questions now.
all right. Now, where can people find you? I feel like they mostly know where you are, but I have to ask this anyway.
YouTube.com/Jesse Cox and
or
at
OMFG
Jesse Cox.
Canada.
That's true. Both of those work. At Jesse Cox on Twitter and on Twitch, twitch.tv/Shabuzi, because I suffer from brand recognition.
You can change your Twitch username now, though.
I can, but they keep wanting me to change my subscription service. Because they're like, you can change it, but then you have to make it a monthly fee. I'm like, no, I will never give up my lifetime
Never
subscription.
give in. Never
I
give
can't.
in.
I can, or else I'd lose all the fact that I have all these subscribers.
Yeah.
I am more proud of the number than I am the fact that I am not making a cent off of it. So, yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for fishing. Hopefully you got your fishing up.
I'm at 789. I was trying to stall. I kept asking you questions because I was like, I'm so close. I'm so close to 800. I can feel it.
Well, I gotta finish editing, so I gotta stall. Or not stall. If I stalled, I couldn't edit.
No, yeah, I mean, you can edit right now. I'll just keep fishing.
All right. Well,
Just keep fishing.
it's just like life. You just keep fishing.
Yeah, you just got to keep fishing. See, man, people watching this right now, they're going to walk away
Wise.
so spiritually enriched.
So wise, so enriched. It'll be like watching Dr. Oz for an hour.
Yeah, and then they're going to be whacking on water.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never know how to end these, so I'm just gonna stop it now.